That's to accept the list of people on these seats as presented, which is this sheet right here. Shows you all the people and all the terms. Because where we had a small issue, folks, one of the reasons we're doing this is as people got appointed and came on these boards and went off, they're not really appointed, they take a seat, and the seat has a date when it begins and when it ends. And what we did is we just put the people down, and if they came in July, they went from July to July. That's not the way they work. They all start and end January and December. So then all our staggers got off, all the terms, nothing was lining up anymore. So we went back and just redid all the dates so that we have staggering terms and it all falls on December and January. So I just want to make sure everybody's up to date, everybody sees the letter of the board and to accept this as we put it in. Any questions?
So how do you want to phrase that?
I would say
That's complicated. I don't know how to get that in the minutes.
A motion to accept the list of people to the boards
I'll make the motion.
and their terms.
I'll make a motion to accept the list of people and terms for the various boards.
And just for the record, before we vote on that, we also have on this list, Construction Board of Appeals, which we have Mike Crow and Steve Durkee. Now, the reason Mike Crow took that board, got off the other one, is in 22 years of having the Construction Board of Appeals, they've never convened. But we have to have them. The other is our road committee is Jack Emelander, Rick Howarth, and Bruce Sullivan. And then we have the NCRA board, which is myself, and we still have to find another member for that board. So, April's done, she went back. So,
Second person.
and no, Ralph will be heading the road committee, not actually a member, but he'll be in charge of it when we get there. So, second on that. You seconded Lonnie? Lonnie seconded it, and that's that list. All right, that's done. Oh, we need to vote. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay. You all had information put in the packets and got information on the summer rec program, which is the program that takes place up in Conklin Park. And the kids every summer, we had two ladies kind of lined up that were going to run it, but both of them have found their lives got a little busier than they planned. One's going back to school and one has a lot on their plate. So we were fortunate enough that Tina took over that that recreational program for us. And you have a copy of the resolution back in '08 that started it, a copy of a budget for it. And what we're asking for tonight is a motion of commitment that $5,500 will be placed in next year's budget to fund this so we can go to the foundation for a grant. Without that commitment in there, without it in the minutes, we can't apply for the grant, and we need to do it by February 1st this year and not February 15th. So we need to do it.
$5,500?
$5,500.
I make a motion to commit $5,500 in the 2013-14 budget for the summer recreation program.
I'll second.
And that'll be a roll call vote then.
Becky, what is that? Lonnie Hall,
Yes.
Ralph Green,
Yes, ma'am.
Chris Hadley,
Yes.
Morgan Heisler.
Yes. Motion passed. The next item is an update on the building department. I still don't even know quite what direction to go with this. So what I did was I made a list of pros and cons. We have basically two options for our building department with Don Regan retiring. One option is to go to the county and just turn it all over to the county and let the county take care of it. Currently, the county does 3/4 of all the permitting for our building department today. We do the building, they do the electrical, the plumbing, and the mechanical up there. So we're already partnered, we're already working with them. The other option is to hire an independent company that will come in and run it out of our township. So you have to weigh out, I guess, the pros and cons of how to come to a decision on this. The county building bears less responsibility for us. We really have no involvement in it, none whatsoever. We just put our hands in the air and say, there you go, and we're done with it. But on the other hand of that, you have no say in it. What happens with the rates, the service the citizens get, you have nothing. It just is out of our hands once again. You go with the independent company, we get a lot of say in the rates. We get say in what hours maybe are here or not here, if you can come here, where you got to go to get them. So there's a lot of different issues on this, and I have different contacts for the board members. I believe each one of you need to take a few minutes, call the county, listen to their spiel, talk to Dwayne Cruzan, listen to their spiel, and I'd like to be ready, all of us, to somehow make a decision on this in February. Because we only have till March 31st to make our decision. So, but again, I'll give you the list I have, but I'm still up in the air on which way to go. The county is by far the easiest remedy to it, bar none. Now, the county is also Don's recommendation. Don recommends we go to the county and not even mess around with it.
Do we have any contractors that would like to speak to us tonight? Are there any contractors here that would like to voice an opinion?
I'm a retired one, but Don has done an excellent job for you guys. I can thoroughly recommend him, but I would not rule out the privatization of it. I would take a long look at that. Sometimes your county will lock you into things that you don't want to be in. Okay?
One other thing that I did discover, when the county called and wanted for me to come up there and listen to their spiel, I had pretty good blinders on of looking at a company called North Country Construction. I know the guys, they work with a lot of other townships around us, Garfield, the city of Newaygo. There's a big sheet of them and a list of all them. But after I left the county, it kind of opened me up a little more to thinking a little different. So that's why I say it's important for everybody to take a look at this and kind of form your own opinions on it. But I'd like to be ready to do something come February. Yes, Chris?
Morgan, as your county commissioner, I have a little bit of insight in the county, what that building department's doing, and they've been working diligently to build that back up. In discussions I had with the administrator, they want your business. They want Township's business. So when you say you're at their mercy as far as fees, I don't think that's the case. If you go on with and work with the county, I think you can dictate a ceiling per se. I beg to differ with you. They want your business pretty hard.
They do, but Chris, the way it works for it to go up to the county is basically we have to say we don't supply it. Once we say that, it goes to the counties.
Correct.
So then it's theirs. But I think Toby has done a very good job. Now, what I will say in that defense of that is their rates are actually slightly lower than the ones with the private one. So I think they've done a great job. But once it goes to them, Chris, we have no more input.
My point is, if they want your business, you can put some strings to it if you demand it.
Yeah.
All right? So you can put some stipulations to it because they want your business.
Yeah.
All right?
The other thing it does, Chris, and this is, if you look at this map, and we'll have that map out here for you by February, it shows the townships that are getting taken by the independent versus what the county has. And the independent is taking all the townships to the south of our county, which are the ones with the most activity, the most building, the most money. They're leaving everything to the north, to the county. And Toby told me when I was up there that if Croton goes and a couple of the other townships go and there's no revenue left, the county will probably put its hands in the air and allow that to go to the state. And that means everything to the north of us then is stuck going to state for their permits. They will not, because it don't sound like some of the independents want to take the northern townships.
It also means that we lose our other option.
We lose our other option, we don't have it anymore. So, once again, it's a lot of stuff to take in. I was a little surprised. I thought it was pretty easy, cut and dry, but it's not an easy decision.
Morgan, if we decide to go with the county, how long does it lock us in for? Is that decision forever,
No.
or can we reverse it at any time?
We can reverse it at any time. We enter into no agreement, we enter into nothing with them. We basically just deny the service, we no longer do it, they take it over.
Got it.
At any point in time, we can reactivate the service and take it back over. So, that's just a heads up on that. The next item on our agenda is the swan reduction permit. Trout has been actively involved in reducing the number of swans on the pond. This has been going on for almost a year and a half, 2 years. 2 years. And each year we have to apply to the DNR to re-update the permit. Chris Ortwine has been working with them very diligently to get this done. So I need 2 motions on this. The first motion will be that the township continues with the swan reduction program and ask the DNR for the permit for another year.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The second motion will be to keep Chris Ortwine as the contact to the DNR and Lonnie Hall as the contact to this board. They need a motion for
I'll make
that.
that motion.
I'll second it. Any discussion?
Why are you reluctant to do both jobs?
From my understanding, it's worked quite well for the last couple of years with no glitches, so personally, I'd like to just see it keep going like it is.
Well, I guess I have a different view of how it's gone, because I don't think that Mr. Irwin has been very transparent, and I don't think he's kept this board very well informed. So I would be glad to see you on there to do that portion of it, but I really have a problem with what Chris got done.
I for one, when you do any type of operation such as this, it's not very well taken in communities. I don't know if any of you watch the news, but communities are all posted on the news, they're doing this, the media's out. This has happened twice on our pond thus far. The first time it happened, we had 6 to 7 calls and complaints to the township, 2 to the local law enforcement agencies. Not a person has ever attended one of our meetings and made a complaint. The second time this happened, we had 1 call to the DNR. And the call to the DNR was, do you have any idea people are out here on boats shooting these birds? The officer said, yes, we're well aware. Okay, thank you. That was it. Now, I don't know how much smoother and easier this could go on a community. But it has been, as painful as it is, and I know there are 2 sides to this, but it has gone smooth and very little difficulties. With the DNR, 100% exemplary. Chris has done everything the DNR has asked of him. And that's why 100% I'm recommending him to stay part of this. So.
When I say lack of transparency, I meant with this township board, there was a lack of transparency.
There was a lack of a lot in this township board at one time, and it's no longer here. So that will not be an issue.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to comment on that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll take my past military experience, and I think Ralph would appreciate this. I looked at this as an approach. You know, culling of the swans is not always the prettiest thing to do, but we had to look at it as a military procedure. And so, what is the objective? What's the goal? What is my threat? And what are my resources that I had to work with? My threat is not swans shooting me back at me. My threat is the media. We did not want an embarrassment in our community, okay? Prior to this operation that we did, you know, we reconnaissance the area, we recruited people that were experienced in shooting. We notified the DNR, we notified the local sheriff department. But prior to executing this, I publicly announced supporting the treasurer's opponent and the supervisor's opponent. So it was a decision that I had to make, that there wasn't a political maneuver made that would embarrass this township. So the night before the operation was to go into place, I notified all the board members. So that's the lack of transparency that the treasurer is alluding to. But I let them know the night before. I did not want to notify a couple days prior, and that somebody might use that as a political measure. And I did not want to embarrass the community because of that. The sheriff's department, the DNR, everybody was notified. You, Mr. Supervisor, were notified well in advance. So that's why I did it, and I'm just going to be very transparent on why that was done, because I did not trust the previous supervisor or you, Madam Treasurer, that you would use that as an embarrassment in a political maneuver.
Well, and you know, that wasn't even a lack of transparency I was referring to.
Well, like I say, let's move on. We got a motion and a second. We have a motion on that.
Yes.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, road committee, we're down to that, folks. What we've got is a road committee that looks at different projects for the roads. We have a road millage that is roughly about 2 mills, brings in about $200,000 a year. And the road committee has done a very good job thus far, but we have a little trouble sometimes getting them to meet and push them in the right direction. So what I would like to look is a motion to appoint Ralph Green to be in charge of our road committee and work with them to try to get a little push to get them together more often, get ahead of the game, and get our plan laid out as to what we're going to do with that money and take care of the roads. I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor?
The only discussion is, I think we need to clarify that you made a statement earlier that you're not putting him on the road committee, you're putting him in charge. And I guess I'd like to see clarify that a little bit more for posterity.
Chris?
You know what I'm saying?
Let me answer that one. Nothing against your road committee whatsoever. It is very important that we coordinate with Mr. Kelly Smith, and that's my job, okay?
And I agree with that.
And
that's not.
Ma'am, if you let me finish, okay? And to try to make sure that we understand his business cycle, his decision cycle, so that we know when we have to be in with him so that we get on his list for projects. Because with all the townships wanting him to do projects, you know, it comes down to how many can he execute. So I guess my role would be to work with our township committee and make sure that we're inside Kelly's decision window. And my responsibility is to get back to all of you and keep all of you informed.
And that was my understanding of the situation. I guess what I'm trying to say is the way the motion is phrased, I'm afraid it's not clear in the motion.
To put Ralph Green in charge of the road committee.
But
That means to call their meeting
Okay.
dates, to get them. The other thing is also to make sure that they are aware of what we're doing. That was one of the hurdles we run into last time, is we were looking at the pathway project going on and going forward, and we actually budgeted money for that project, put it in there, and nobody got back to the pathway, or the road committee. And the road committee got very upset that we did something with road money without informing them, when in essence we don't have to, but we put them there, so we need to involve them, and we never got back to them. Nobody pushes them to set up meetings, so this is just a push, and to make sure they know the board is supporting this person. That's all this is.
And if that's the way you want to phrase it, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's clear enough what the point is, but that's fine.
Okay. Seconded? I seconded it?
Yes, you did.
Well, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Done. All right, last but not least, folks, the CPU, we're down to that. I will